Here's a guy to explain why he's not an atheist.
Okay, I'll tell you in brief why I am not an atheist. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing here. Bertrand Russell, a prominent atheist of the 20th century, who wrote a book called Why I Am Not a Christian. Actually, his whole thesis was why he is an atheist. But the world being what it was in Britain at the time, mid-century, 20th century, the idea that was that religion means to be a Christian.
I'm pretty sure they were aware of other religions at the time. It wasn't mid-century. Russell wrote this essay in 1927, and back then there were millions of citizens of the British Empire who were Muslim and Hindu. You look like you should probably know that.
Anyway, why I'm not an atheist is it's the same reason that atheists are atheists.
So you're not an atheist because you don't believe in God?
Well, what's that? I am not an atheist for the same reason that atheists are atheists. Okay, what is it? It seems right to me.
I'm an atheist not just because it seems right, but also because the alternative is altogether incomprehensible to me.
Okay, what does that mean? We'll discuss it later. I'm going to give a whole talk on the psychological factors in the theism versus atheism discussion. To an atheist, it seems absurd to postulate or believe in an omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, omnibenevolent being.
It's not just absurd. As best I can tell, it's altogether incoherent.
No evidence. At least they don't say omnivorous like most atheists and theists.
I've literally never heard an atheist or theist say that God is omnivorous.
But to the atheists, they say there is no deeper meaning to life. What you see is what exists, and that's it, nothing more.
What do you mean by deeper meaning? Even if there is a God who created everything for some purpose, if that's what you mean by meaning, in what sense would that meaning be deeper? And atheism doesn't claim that there's nothing more than we can see. Nothing about atheism claims that there aren't things that exist that we haven't discovered and may never discover.
Carl Sagan, a prominent astrophysicist, atheist of the previous century, said that the cosmos is all that is or ever was or ever will be. The
cosmos, by definition, is all that is, ever was, or ever will be. That's what I use the word cosmos to mean. Even if there turns out to be a god of some kind, that god would be part of the cosmos.
All that is or ever was or ever will be. Well, according to them, there was the Big Bang that was prior to time. So, okay, within their idea of time.
No, the Big Bang was not prior to time. Some models say that the Big Bang was the very earliest moment of time, but others posit that time existed before the Big Bang. None of them say that it occurred prior to time. Prior to time doesn't even make any sense.
The cosmos is all that is or ever was or ever will be. It's almost a religious statement, but it's backed with the supposed authority of a reputed scientist and big scientists like Carl Sagan and Richard Dawkins and Stephen Hawking and others say is accepted by many to be true.
I suspect that the scientists who say this do so not because it has been discovered to be the case, but rather because they're defining the term. It is true by definition that the cosmos is all that is, ever was, or ever will be. You don't have to use the term cosmos that way if you don't want to.
Although actually it's an unverifiable statement in a worldview that Dr. Sagan and others accepted on faith.
Now, it's not accepted on faith, it's stipulated as a tautology.
Do we have to believe them just because they say it?
You don't have to believe anything. I don't think people have a lot of control over what they find convincing, so it makes no sense to tell anyone that they have to believe something. And again, all they are asking you to believe when they define the word cosmos this way is that this is how they are using the word. They are not making a claim about reality writ large. They're just telling you what they mean.
Against our intuition, against the history of countless saints and mystics.
Why do you put so much trust in intuition? Intuition told Aristotle that heavy objects fall faster than lighter objects, despite the fact that we can confirm that to not be the case with a simple experiment. And if you have such aversion to believing something just because a scientist says it, why are you so eager to believe something just because some mystics have said it? And this definition of the word cosmos doesn't even preclude the existence of the supernatural. If supernatural things exist, whatever that would even mean, they would actually be included in the cosmos.
Since time immemorial, in all cultures, there has been a whole culture of mysticism, spiritualism, all kinds of apparitions, ghosts, amazing coincidences.
Yeah, I hear a lot of anecdotes about ghosts and apparitions, but testimonial evidence seems to be the only evidence presented, and that's the weakest kind of evidence. And what are amazing coincidences supposed to prove? The fact that amazing coincidences can happen without any causal relationship is exactly why p-hacking is such a research hazard.
The work of higher powers, miracles.
How do you determine that an occurrence really is a miracle or the work of higher powers, whatever that's supposed to mean?
But materialists, here I'm talking about philosophical materialists, those who just believe that matter is all that is.
I don't think I've ever encountered a materialist by that definition. I've never even heard of someone who doesn't believe that time, space, or energy exist.
Materialists a priori reject all of this.
I reject a lot of it a priori for the same reason that I reject the existence of married bachelors a priori. A lot of what you listed makes no sense. I don't need to conduct an empirical experiment to confirm that 2 + 2 does not equal 5.
We don't believe it. There can't be anything beyond matter. There can't be anything miraculous.
Lots of physical, non-woo-woo things exist outside of matter. Insofar as a miracle is a violation of a physical law, it is impossible by definition.
Transcendental. It doesn't fit with the laws of nature that we can observe.
If there is anything that defies the principles that we believe to be laws of nature, that would mean that there really are no such things as laws of nature. Laws of nature, or at least laws of physics, are inviolable by definition. If any principle that we call a law is confirmed to be violated, scientists will at the very least revise it, if not entirely disregard it as ever having been an actual law.
From what I see from Richard Dawkins, a prominent atheist, what I've seen, he doesn't really engage with or get deeply into arguments. He just incredulously asks, when he's up against a heavyweight intellectual theist, he just incredulously asks, how can an educated person like you believe in such things?
No, he doesn't just ask that. He also has arguments. His philosophical arguments aren't very sophisticated because he's a biologist, not a philosopher, but they consist of more than just incredulous questions.
That's his intellectual arrogance. I'm not an atheist. Intuitively, psychologically, you could say.
Sounds like feels over reals to me. To everyone who helps me out on Patreon, you're a big help. Thanks so much.